And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China. All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit. Like God's property, it's hard to market. So we steady to aim, keep your eyes on target. Cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed with life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said
the same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black.
The white man is enacting a story all over the world. We left our homes and flooded the world. We smothered culture. We smothered knowledge. We erased history and rewrote it our way. Myself, my grandfather is 100% Ashkenazi Jewish. Claiming to be Jewish, Ashkenazi Jewish is just a conspiracy. White men claiming to be of tribes of Israel when I'm Germanic. You know, I have no ties to Israel, no ties to Judaism. You know, except loosely written history that's been whitewashed over for centuries. And, you know,
from the Renaissance.
Oh yeah, right. You wipe everything clean. It's funny how exactly the Renaissance. It's this rebirth, but it's white rebirth. I think at the same exact time the Renaissance is happening, Columbus is sailing to America and committing genocide.
Only one true ethnic Jew, the Mizrahi Jew, because they are Africans, and if you read the original Bible written in Phoenician Hebrew, they're not. Jewish people are not Europeans. The modern Jews in Israel are Russians or Khazars to be precise, from Russia. I learned it from my grandfather that because he was an Ashkenazi Jew.
The same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black.
This is the courtyard of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. How many mountains is in here?
Do you know where the line is?
I can't. Two? Yeah. Name it.
Greek
Calvary and Latin Calvary. Say that again?
Greek Calvary and Latin Calvary.
He said Greek Calvary and Latin Calvary. But here you got Mount Calvary. Suppose it is inside this church. Mount Calvary is what happened on Mount Calvary?
The crucifixion.
The crucifixion. Is that correct? Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Was Yeshua crucified outside the city or in the city? Huh?
Outside the city.
Outside the city. So, how could this mountain be inside these walls? Some ain't connected. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm going to show you where the real Calvary is. It's on a mountain where cemetery is today. And the mountain looked like a skull, because also Mount Calvary is called Golgotha. Golgotha means the skull. Now, according to archaeological and historiography by the Euro-Gentile, where this mountain where Yeshua was crucified, at the bottom of the mountain they found a skull. They had to excavate for it. The skull was the skull of Adam.
Their bones were discovered in Kafse caves near Nazareth in Galilee in 1933. 13 fragile skeletons, one a woman, a tiny baby at her feet. When these bones were first uncovered, they were the oldest complete modern human skeletons ever found.
The numerous skeletons that have been found in caves in Israel at the sites of Kafse and Shkul show us that there were modern humans outside of Africa over 100,000 years ago. Those modern humans may well have gone up the Nile corridor. Those modern humans may well have gone up the Nile corridor. Those modern humans may well have gone up the Nile corridor.
Did you hear me? So, the first, because see, Yeshua is also recognized as the second Adam. Is that not so? So, he was crucified.
Finally, Wells comes face to face with the man he's been searching for. A new portrait of the common ancestor of every man today. Adam. Without the skull, we can't know for sure what Adam looked like. But a combination of genetic evidence, vendors' forensic skills, and cutting-edge computer software suggests he looked something like this.
Did you hear me? So, the first, because see, Yeshua is also recognized as the second Adam. Is that not so? So, he was crucified in the same place where the first Adam was what? Buried. That's why they call it Har Golgotha, the mountain of Golgotha. Okay, now, who was responsible for building this church? Who? Helena. Who was Helena? Queen Helena.
The daughter of Constantine.
Oh, no. The mother
Constantine.
of Emperor Constantine. Now, one of the things that you got to study when you go back is history, especially about the Holy Land and the empires that were here. In 325 AD, Constantine commissioned his mother, Queen Helena, to build this church. Why?
It just doesn't matter. 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 It just doesn't matter.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you.
Want to say peace and blessings to everyone. Hope all is well with you guys. My apologies for being a little late tonight. Got caught up in a few things, and also was trying to get some video clips formatted to present to you guys tonight, the intro that you saw tonight. So hope all is well with you guys. I'll start things off real quick. I'll give a shout out to those that are in the chat. I haven't done this in a while, so I'll give a quick shout out and we'll get right into the lesson. I want to say peace and blessings to Be Concentrated. I want to say shalom to you. Want to say shalom to Malaka, Bat Ya to the remnant. Want to say peace and blessings to you. And to focus, want to say shalom to you. And to focus to see. Appreciate the love and support. Sister Joy, shalom to you. Peace and blessings to you as well. Who else do we have here? Victorious Ron, shalom to you. Alexandria Leggett, want to say shalom to you. Lemeria Johnson, I want to say shalom to you. Let's see who else we have here as we get ready to get into the lesson. Shamara, Shamara Unorthodox, want to say shalom to you. McNen, say shalom to you. Let's see here. Let me scroll down a little more. Get as much as I can. Jerry Carroll, want to say shalom to you. Dwayne E. Butler, want to say good evening to you as well. Really appreciate you for the love and support. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Shalom to you. Let's see here. Israelite wife Desiree, want to say peace and blessings to you as well. Boz Reeves, peace and blessings to you. Shalom to you. Uh, Shariel Scott, want to say shalom to you. Amelia Jones, peace and blessings to you. Nia Thompson, peace and blessings to you. Let's see here. Rose Mitchell, shalom to you. Black Ace Jack or Black Jack, want to say peace and blessings to you. Let's see here. Charles Bird, peace and blessings to you. Julia Patterson, peace and blessings to you. Let's see here. Jay Michelle Howard, want to say shalom to you. Let's see. Octavia Phillips, peace and blessings to you. Amiyah, want to say peace and blessings to you. Uh, let's see. I think I got you, but I'll make sure. Nia Thompson, peace and blessings to you. Pauline T, shalom to you. Who else do we have here? Let's see. Jay Mitchell or Michelle Howard, excuse me. Shalom to you. Peace and blessings to you. Edgar Mitchell or McNeil. I'm making up names, right? Edgar McNeil, my apologies. Shalom to you. Sister Carol in the house. Sister Carol in the building. Peace and blessings to you, sis. Ernest Higgs, peace and blessings to you. Shalom to you. Uh, really appreciate the love and support. All right. Went down the list, got as many as I can. If I did not get all your names in, as the old school would say, charge it to my head, not to my heart. Let me get a couple more in. Let's see here. David Wicks, shalom. Joe Scott, shalom. Benny Wheat, shalom to you. My buddy Jay Highstyle, shalom to you. Amir Yisrael, shalom to you. Stephanie Bailey, shalom to you. Let's see here. Dewan, I want to say peace and blessings to you. A couple of more here. Denise Tyus, want to say peace and blessings to you. V Cannon, peace and blessings to you. Courtney Woods, peace and blessings to you. Methuselah, let's say shalom to you. And a couple of more here, and we'll get into it. Let's see here. Nina Cole, shalom to you. One more. Let's see. All right. Monica Dixon, peace and blessings to you. All right, family, let's go ahead and get into it, family. Really appreciate the love and support from all of you guys. Really appreciate you guys for all that you do. And we're going to go ahead and get right into it. The lesson for tonight is eternal consequences. Do hell really exist? Again, eternal consequences. Do hell really exist? I'll say it one more time. Eternal consequences. Do hell really exist? And so the reason why I'm doing this lesson here, because I tell you so much uh, stuff out here, and I need to do this foundational teaching and give some clarity here, because there's so many people that say that they believe in the words in the scriptures, every word in the scriptures, but they don't believe that there's a hell, right? They don't believe hell exists. All right. So we need to get clarity. We need to get clarity. So again, eternal consequences, do hell really exist? All right. That's our topic for today. But before we get into the lesson, I want to start off with kind of like setting the tone for this lesson tonight. Setting the tone for this lesson tonight and those that will watch this lesson in the replay. All right. I want to start off with this here. A troll. What is a troll? Right. And the reason why I'm doing this lesson, excuse me, trying to clear my throat. The reason why I'm doing this lesson and kind of starting off with this disclaimer here, so to speak, is because you have among our community, like none other, especially among those that are proclaiming to teach the scriptures, trolling like never before. You don't see this in the Jewish community teachings when they're teaching. You don't see this stuff there. You don't see them trolling one another. You don't see them, popping up in their comment section and trolling each other. You don't see them doing this. You don't see them posting other comments. You don't see this behavior. You don't. Only within our community. For the most part, you go to some of these Christian YouTube channels, you don't see this behavior for the most part. But when you in this awakening, troll is, especially among our community, trolling is ridiculous. We have no respect for one another, whether you agree or disagree. There's a lot of teachings that are out there that I don't agree with, but I won't troll them. Behaviors that we will not do. My old pastor used to say, people decide to act crazy when they come to church. He said the church is the only place where people will decide to act crazy. Take it a step further. I believe the same thing in this awakening. In this awakening, people come here to act crazy. They won't exhibit none of these behaviors at their job. They won't do this at their workplace. They won't do this at their place of business. They won't do this stuff at the supermarket. They won't do this stuff at the bowling alley. They won't do this stuff in a court in front of the judge. The behaviors that we see is only from this community, and it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's sad and it's ridiculous. And I'm not even going to just start with the people. In other words, those that are watching. I'm going to start with leadership or those with platforms. Most of these people with platforms in this community are promoting trolling. I'm not going to say all, but most are promoting trolls. So what is a troll? Because I even had someone trolling and even had the nerve to post, had the audacity to post that they're good trolls. There's a justifiable reason to troll. So let's go ahead and define what a troll is. And family, and this goes to the moderators. If anyone gets up into comes into this chat trolling, you guys know what to do. Block them, kick them out. I don't care if we have to, narrow everything down to just 20 people in the chat. I don't care. But I'd rather have 20 people that are willing to learn, that has a really astute respect towards one another, that's not trying to be a distraction. I'd rather have just 20 people in the live than to have hundreds of people or even thousands of people being disrespectful. I'd rather have 20 people. I'd rather have 5 people. At least I know at least those 5 people are really coming to learn. But what is a troll, family? Let me give you proper clarity of what a troll is. All right. Is there such thing as a good troll? We're going to answer this question. Let's start with the etymological dictionary definition of the word troll. This is what it means: to go about, stroll. Now, from a sense of, as you see here, a hunting term, it means to wander, to go in quest of game without purpose. That's what these trolls do. They go about, they stroll, they stroll into someone else's teachings, purposely trying to be disruptive. They're wandering from platform, from platform to platform, social media platform to platform, being disrespectful. And the reason for this is most of them don't have accountability. And if they do have accountability, then they'll purposely troll with fake accounts. See, so they try to make it so that way you don't know who they are. Trolling with fake accounts. I say it all the time. I look at the dates of when the accounts were created, and I can tell no content on there. I can tell create an account specifically to troll. So to go about, stroll, a hunting term, wander, to go in quest of of game without purpose. But let's look at the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of the troll, right? And we're going to read the verb portion of this because we see that a troll, as you see in the backdrop here, prowl. But I want to check. I want to really go to, uh, entry number 2, even though I have C here. But notice what it says here too: to antagonize others, in other words, online, by deliberately posting inflammatory, irrelevant, or offensive comments or other disruptive comments. Or content. Let me zoom that in. I should have added this into the overall definition here, and we'll get to see. Right? This is what a troll is, family. This is what a troll is: to antagonize someone who's on the prowl, to antagonize online by deliberately posting inflammatory, irrelevant, or offensive comments or other disruptive content. Okay, but let me show you what entry C tells us. Let's see what C says. Right, to harass, criticize, or antagonize. In other words, someone, especially by provocatively disparaging, disparaging, right, or mocking public statements, posting, or acts. Let me read it again: to harass, criticize, or antagonize, especially by provocatively disparaging or mocking public statements, posting, or acts. And this is what we see: people coming in harassing, criticizing, antagonizing. It literally had people trying to antagonize, harass, and criticize me on something that they agree with, a post that they agree with. Had someone say, "Hey, I lost respect for you because blasey boom blah." That's a little old school term, blasey boom blah, right? That's how we would say it back home, blasey boom blah, because of blasey boom blah. And I'm like, huh? Apparently, you didn't read the post or watch the video, because what you are stating is exactly my stance. But you're trolling so bad. Your purpose is to troll that you're not even paying attention to what's actually being taught. So to harass, criticize, or antagonize, especially by provocatively disparaging or mocking public statements, postings, or acts. That's what a troll is, family. That's what a troll is. That's what trolling is. So let me show you what the scripture says, because the Bible talks about trolling, right? First Peter chapter 5 verse 8 warns us about trolling. Notice what it says here: be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, Shaitan, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Isn't that trolling, family? Doesn't that describe what a troll is? What these people are doing, right? Doesn't that describe what a troll is? Is this not Peter warning us about trolls? If you agree with me, type 1. If you disagree with me, type 2. But this is the behaviors that I just explained to you. Well, we used to say actually Blasey Blasey, J High Star actually was Blasey Bloom Blah in Newark, New Jersey. In Brooklyn, I may have said Blasey Blasey. Back home, we say Blasey Bloom Blah, right? So I can't speak for what you said over in Brooklyn, but in Newark, we say Blasey Bloom Blah, right? But anyway, so yeah, so this is trolling. Whenever someone's trying to troll, pull this passage out. Pull this passage out, family. So I just want to set the tone, moderators. Uh, if you hear anyone say or anyone in here trolling, put them out. Put them out. Just no tolerance. Put them out. Put them out of the chat. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the lesson, family. We'll do as much as we can because it's a lot to unpack, and we may have to break this up into two. But let's go ahead and deal with hell. What is hell? 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 That's something to think about, family. What is hell? All right. This is the questions that we're going to answer today. What is hell? Where do we go when we die? Is there such thing as of an internal hell? Are there tears to hell? Right? These are some questions we just need to ask, family. Is the devil currently in hell? Right? Let me say that again. Let me just answer this question right here. I already answered it. Is the devil currently in hell? Is the devil currently in hell? Because many of our perception of hell is based off of it's actually encapsulated in this this clip here. Let me play this clip real quick.
Going up.
See, most of you guys' perception of hell is just like that. Man, when I first saw this ESPN commercial, this is like going back into like the early 2000s, turn of the millennium. When I first saw this commercial right here, I could not help but to crack up. But that's our perception. That's what most people's perception of hell. Let me show it one more time.
Going up.
See, most of our perception of hell is just like that. That it's this being with a pitchfork, with, of course, ears like how you saw it, goatee, pointy goatee, red, tail, right? That's how most of us picture hell. Just like most of us don't have a clue about what it means for someone to be possessed. When we think about possession, demonic possession, we think of green goop coming out of their mouth. We think their head going to spin around, like the movie The Exorcist. We think that that's how someone is going to look when they demonic, when they demon possessed, when they have demons all up in them. We think that it's going to be that obvious. Do you know that's not how it works? Right? When someone is possessed, they could look normal just like any other person. Right? Can hold a conversation and everything. They look like just the everyday Joe Blow. Right? Until you talk to them. Until you start discerning their behaviors, and you start seeing like, wait a minute, this something is wrong with this person. Some just don't seem right about this person. And when you get those feelings, that is your spirit bearing witness that something is wrong, something is demonic with this person. But we think that based upon media, based upon the things, the imagery around us, that's what we look for when we think about the devil. You know, as we said, as I shared with the example of someone being demonic, having demons, being possessed by demons. So that ESPN commercial is what we think. We think that, and I'll show it one more time, and I'll explain one last point here.
Going up.
I want to laugh every time I see that, right? But we also think that because of the media, now I'll give you some other sources as well, that Hasatan, that the devil, right? Like hell is his territory. Hell is where he has dominion. When many talk about the devil, they picture the devil as being an equal opposite of the Most High. You know, like in the cartoons or some of the old shows, or even right now, you have an angel on one side, the devil on another side. In many cases, you see the devil beating the angel. So, family, these are things that media plays a major role. And truth be told, the Catholic Church plays a major role in how many perceive what hell is. All right. And I know some of you guys are like, hey, you wouldn't have wasted no time. You would have did just like our brother man in that elevator, right? Jay Highsell said he would have beelined out of there, right? Absolutely, right. That's so funny. But anyway, but is the devil currently in hell? And I'm gonna tell you, family, absolutely not. The devil is not in hell. The devil don't have access to go to or from in hell. And hopefully we'll be able to cover some of that tonight. But let's start with 1 Peter 5:8. I gave this scripture earlier, but we're going to highlight it again. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant. Right? There's some things that really stands out in this passage. Be sober, meaning that you have to be in the right spirit, which is the spirit of Yah. You have to have the Holy Spirit, the attributes of the Holy Spirit. That's what this is referring to when it says be sober, right? Be vigilant. In other words, proactive, because your adversary, the enemy, the devil, Shaitan, as a roaring lion, saying he has the characteristics of the lion, had the characteristics, but not the lion, not the lion. As a roaring lion, walketh about, strolling, like we pointed out with the troll, strolling, walketh about. It's not saying he's running, he's racing, because with the devil, hey, right now he has time on his hand. See, family, many of you guys think you mastered, you could outfool the devil. No, you can't. The devil mastered this flesh. The devil got millenniums on top of millenniums in terms of a head start on any of us. So your adversary, right, as a roaring lion, walketh about, not in a rush. He's like, hey, he's strolling. He's on a prowl, just like trolls on a prowl, trolling, but walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So this tells us that the devil can't be everywhere. All right. So that's why we want to do this discussion tonight, to really deal with some foundational things that we need to talk about, that we need to know. So let's go to John chapter 8, verse 44. Let's see what it says here. Ye are of your father, the devil, Shaitan, And the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. He is a liar and father of it. See, this was one of those passages that really stood out for me, family. This passage right here was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You know, when I read a little further up, right, when you see it in the background here, where it says, the Messiah said, if the Son therefore make you free, right, you shall be free indeed. And said, I know that you are Abraham's seed, but you seek to kill me because my word has no place in you. Right? You know, if I could go up, it's not in here. But guess what? They made it clear. They say, you know what? We know we Abraham's seed, but we never knew bondage. Because the Messiah told them, hey, you know, the truth will make you free. But they told him, hey, wait a minute, you know, we be Abraham's seed, but we never knew bondage. So my question is like, wait a minute. Supposedly in this text, he's dealing with the Israelites. I don't like to use the word, Jew. He's dealing with Judah, Judeans, Yahawadah. Some of you guys would say Yehudi. He's dealing with Israel. But when I looked at this text and really studied this text, be Abraham's seed, but said that their father is Hasatan. As you see here, Shatam, or it could be Shatam, right? Shatam transliterates to the word hate. And you'll see that word for Jacob and Esau. Esau hated his brother. He sought to kill his brother. That means that, guess what? He was operating in this spirit right here. His father, Shatan, father of lies. Why? Because he sought to kill the promise seed. By killing Jacob, ultimately he would kill the promised seed, the Messiah. So we see here these group of people here. Now, I believe, based upon the historical aspect of knowing what King Herod had done and appointing 70 of the 72 Sanhedrin Edomites to that position, and many of the Pharisees were Edomites. And I believe in this text, we're dealing with Edomites because they said we be Abraham's seed, but we never knew bondage. And Israel's history has always been in bondage. So bad that Jeremiah questioned it in Jeremiah chapter 2. But Esau, descendants, always had a way with entering into agreements to circumvent being in bondage to, and undermine the Israelites. So here, when it says here, your father, ye are of your father, the devil Shatan, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. But we're going to highlight here, your father, the devil, Shatan, right? Or Shatam with the Mayam, others would say Mem, right? But it's still transliterate to Satan. Okay, so let's go to Job chapter 1, verse 6 and 7. So we're really getting an idea of what the scripture so far paints a picture about Hasatan. We see that it says that he was a murderer from the beginning, right? Because he deceived Eve. Adam rebelled. So now they had to what? They had to experience death. So he was a murderer from the beginning, right? Killing the will, the spirit, by way of what? Conversations. That's the forbidden fruit. Forbidden fruit is not some watermelon, it's not some apple, it's not some orange, it's not some pear. It's conversation. Ye are of your father the devil. said he was a murderer from the beginning. So this is where in Genesis chapter 3, we see the seed of the serpent versus the seed of the woman. Okay. So Job chapter 1, verse 6 and 7. So we see that he was there at the beginning. He's a liar. He's a murderer, right? He's going to or fro, right? Trolling, seeking whom he can devour, pretending to be the lion, right? Disguising himself as a messenger, an angel of light, and he has disciples. So when we go to Job chapter 1, right, verse 6 and 7, notice what we see here. Now there was a day when the sons of Alahayim, in other words, Banya Alahayim, this is dealing with the angels, right? These angelic beings came to present themselves before Yahweh. And Satan, Shatan, came also among them. So this tells us, gives us an idea the time of the day that the angels and all, they will come and present themselves to the Father. Right? And as we see here, Satan, Hashatan, is right along with them. He came right along with them. So that tells you that he had access. He had access to be among the angels and be among the presence of the Father. Verse 7, and Yahweh said unto Satan, Shatan, whence comest thou? Then Satan, Shatan, answered Yahweh and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and walking up and down in it. So that tells you that he's not omniscient, right? He's not all seeing. He's not all knowing. Hasatan. He can't be everywhere at the same time. He can't. So he can only be at one point to another. He's going from to and fro in the earth, trolling, walking from up and down in it. So he's trolling. He's a troll, family. And so many of our brothers and sisters, they are what? They are disciples of this troll. This is the head troll right here, family. This is the head troll. He's trolling, right? So we see that Hasatan had access. We see Hashatan is right among the angels. All right. So when we go to Luke chapter 22, let's see what Luke chapter 22 says about him. It says here, and Adonaiah said, Simon, Simon, behold, Shatan hath desired Sha'al to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. So we see here, Hashatan has to ask for permission. When it says desire, it means that he requested. He requested access to Simon, to Peter, just like we see play out in Job. So we see that the Most High has all power. Hasatan has what? Some power. Let me say that again. Hasatan may have some power, but the Most High has what? All power. You know, United States have some power, but the Most High has all power, right? Russia, China, on earth, they're referred to as superpowers. UK, they have some power, but the Most High has all power. So this tells you that Hasatan doesn't have all power, family, but we behave as if he does. We've been institutionalized through religion, starting with the Roman Catholic Church, that Hasatan is the equal opposite of the Most High. Family, I remember, right? I remember, man, just this thought, man, just think about this. Just think about this. I remember a pastor, old pastor, when I was at a conference when I was still in Kojic out in Roanoke, right? And the pastor said that he was struggling with the question, kept asking the Father, how much power do you have? And he said he was chasing that question for years until one day the Father gave him the answer. He said, if I gave you an answer of how much power that I have, then that means that I have limited power. He said, let me say that again. He said, if I told you that I had this amount of power, then that means that I have a finite number. He says, I don't have a finite number. My power is unlimited. There's no limit to it. Because if you say that the Father has a limit to his power, then that means that he has a beginning, he has an ending to his power. That's why we have to understand when we read it in the Greek, Alpha and Omega, beginning and the end. No, it's not saying that the Father is the beginning and he is the end. It's saying that all signs come from him. Because if you say the Father is the beginning, all right, now you said there's a starting point to his existence. When you say the Father is the end, that means that there's a ending point to his existence. So the Father does not have a beginning. He does not have an ending. He is described as being everlasting. Iwalam. So I want to make sure you guys understand it. That's why we're going through this presentation the way that we're going through it. All right. So again, you see here, Hasatan does not have unlimited power. Hasatan still has to ask for permission. He was going to and fro with Job, and guess what? It was until the Most High brought Job's name up that allowed Hasatan to have access to him. So we see here, it says here in Adonai, which yours is say Lord, Adonai, some of you guys would say Adonai, but Adonai Yah said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan, Shatan, hath desire, Sha'al. Some of you guys would say Shaul, but Sha'al, to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But here's the kicker, verse 32. But I have prayed for thee. Wait a minute. But I have prayed for thee. That's past tense, right? So that means this discussion had already took place. This request had already took place before the Messiah even brought it to his attention, to let Peter know, to let Simon Peter know that Satan had already requested access to him, right? Already requested access to him. He said, but I have prayed for thee that thy what? Faith. Now, faith is the Hebrew word aman that transliterates to the word faith. It transliterates to the word trust. It transliterates to the word belief. It also means confirmed to be true. It means to be permanent. It means to go to the right hand. It means consistency. That's what faith from a Hebraic, the full understanding of the word aman, not just faith, but the key is consistency. That's the key. Consistency and knowing how to go to the right hand of the Father. So the Israelites, they always knew the importance of going to the right hand of the Father. That word aman. You'll see that in Numbers chapter 27, actually. Right? When they say, when they confirm, when they say they agree, when they say so be it, or it is so. So, but I have prayed for thee that thy faith fail not. And that's where you see the law of the curses listed there, saying what they will not do in terms of that they will not break those laws of curses. And then, of course, chapter 28, the blessings and the consequences. But nevertheless, it says, I have prayed for thee that thy faith faileth, that your consistency does not fail you, that your understanding how to go to the right hand does not fail you. I pray for thee that your aman, right? Your aman fail not. And when thou art converted, oh my goodness, there's so much to unpack. When thou art converted, that means he failed. Because when you understand converted from a Hebraic tense, it means to turn back. So it says, so when thou art turned back, in other words, when you are turned back to the Most High, when you fail, he said, he praying for him that his faith doesn't fail him. But you see here that he wandered away, because when you read about the disciples after the Messiah was lynched, guess what? They went back to doing the very thing that the Messiah called him from doing. And that was what? Fishing. So he went back to doing what he was doing, like many of us do. Things don't turn out our way. or the way that we wanted to turn out, then we go right back to doing what we were doing before we gave our life, before we committed ourselves to the Most High through his son, Yahweh Shai. So, but I have prayed for thee that thy faith fail not. And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. Anyway, see, Peter had to go back. He had to turn back. And from that point on, you'll see in the book of Acts, especially when he got that power of the Holy Spirit, Acts chapter 2, Peter was on fire, turning so many people, thousands upon thousands, to the Most High through the Messiah. But anyway, so let's deal with this word Satan. Let's deal with this word Satan. Let's deal with this word Satan. Let's see what it means, right? As we see here, right? Shatan. Now, I know from an Israeli perspective, when you see that dot to the left side, instead of this, and they call this letter in the Israeli pronunciation is seen, if the dot to the right is sheen. So I'm pronouncing this word in the ancient Hebraic perspective because this letter didn't make multiple sounds in ancient Hebrew. It only made the sha sound. So that's why you hear me saying shatan versus satan, right? So these are, for those that don't understand Hebrew and how I'm getting the ah sounds, both of these make the ah sound. This is the patak, this is the kamets. They both make the ah sound. But anyway, this says satan, but the ancient Hebrew is actually shatan. So it means to attack. It means accuse. It means adversary, right? As we see here, to be or act as an adversary, resist, oppose. So that's what shatan means, to attack, right? Anyone that's trying to attack you, right, for being the follower of the Most High through his son, guess what? They are trolls. They are who? Shatan. Anyone that try to make false accusations about you, be accusers of the brethren that are teaching this truth, they are operating in the spirit of Shatan. They are trolling. I don't care who it is, right? They are an adversary. Okay. There's a lot of trolls, as we just highlighted, in this truth. Matter of fact, not just in this truth. Of course, we already know that's circulating and operating in Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism. Why? Because they are what? Accusing, they are trolling us in this awakening. But we also have within this awakening trolls, shatans among us. All right. But anyway, but let's get to this the Satan. That's who we dealing with. Hashatan, the father of all lies, the murder from the beginning. That's who we're referring to. So does Shatan or Satan have dominion over hell? Let me ask that question, family. Let me ask this question here. Let me go ahead and open up this. Let me open this up here. I want to ask this question. All right, let me pull this up here. I'm going to do a poll here. All right, let's start this poll here. Does Satan have dominion over hell? All right, and I'll put a third option here. All right. All right, there you have it, family. There you have it. Let's right now we have almost 200 people in the chat. Let's go ahead and let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes to 100, at least 100 right now. We should already been at 100. Clicking that thumbs up. Guess what? That does not cost you anything. So let's get those thumbs up, right? Let's get those thumbs up. And I forgot to post my Cash App for those that would like to sow a seed. Actually, I don't even like to say sow a seed, but if you like to invest in what we're doing here, I'll put this here as well. You know, I've been being told that I keep forgetting to put this in, which is all good. But let me put this here. All right. Let's see here. All right. So, but let's look at the poll right now so far. Let's see where we are. So far, 37 people voted. So, family, I encourage you guys. Uh, let's get more participation in this. So far, 84% said no, but let's get at least 50 people participating in this poll. Right now, we have 39. Let's get it at least to 50 people. We just need 11 more people. Just doesn't cost you anything to click on an answer here. And guess what? I don't know what you answered, so it doesn't give us that type of data. So I don't know what you voted. So let's get it up to 50, right? So far we see almost 80% says no, 15% says yes, and 6% says they are not sure. All right. And family, there's nothing wrong with being unsure. That's why we are doing this lesson. So far, we have uh, 81% says no, 13% says yes, 6% says not sure. So we have over 50 people right now. It's 54 people that voted. We'll leave that open for a little while longer until we ask our next question. All right. So again, does Satan have dominion? Does Satan have dominion over hell? Let's go with Ephesians. Let's start with Ephesians. And really, that's why you see this X there is telling you no. And I'm going to explain it to you because he doesn't have dominion over hell. We have to understand what hell is first, right? So we're going to break that down. We're going to deal with hell. But let me take you to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2, right? And notice what it says. And I'm just giving you, I'm not going into the full text, but it says, we're in past times, ye walked according to the course of this world, right? This is dealing with Hashatan, according to the prince of the power of the air. So Hasatan, according to what the scriptures here, he is what? The prince of the air. In other words, he has the power of manipulation. The prince of this air. That's what this means. He can manipulate situations. According to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. So Hasatan is the prince of the air. That means that he is, again, he's not in hell like we've been incorrectly taught. Hasatan is not in hell, family. Hasatan is alive and he's going to and fro with with the people that are following him, with the angels that are following him. They're going to and fro, and also some of those that call themselves our brothers and sisters, right? As the Messiah called them, wolves in sheep's clothing, looking like they are in this truth, look like they're all about this awakening. They can walk the walk, talk the talk, but on the inside, they are ravenous wolves. They are trolls. So we're in past times, you walk according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. So did the Greek influence our understanding of Satan? Let me ask that question again. Did the Greek influence our understanding of Satan, of Ha-Shatan, right? Did the Greeks influence our understanding of it? So I'm going to go ahead and put another question here. Let's go ahead and end this poll. Appreciate the participation. I'll put another question here just for participation purposes because I like to do this here. So did the Greek influence our understanding of Satan? All right, so I'm going to put this inside the chat. All right, family. All right, let's get those votes up. Let's get those votes up. All right. Did the Greeks influence our understanding of Satan? All right. Let's get at least 50 people voting on this. We have over 200 people in the chat. Let's get this to over at least 50 people participating. Really, we should at least have 100 people, but it's all good. But let's at least get 50 people. All right. So we getting there. We got 39 votes. All right. We at 40. Come on, let's get at least 10 more votes. All right. And as you're voting, if you have not click that thumb, click that like. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, you guys know what to do. And also share this video on your YouTube space, in your Facebook space, your Instagram space. But anyway, so far, yes, we hit 50 votes. Appreciate it, family. 50 votes. So out of the 50, we have 88% that says yes, 6% says no, and 6% says that they're not sure. All right. But we're going to answer that question. All right. And don't feel bad if you don't know, family. And don't feel bad if you said yes or said no, rather, and you find out that it's totally the opposite. That's what we're doing this. That's why we're doing this teaching. Because guess what? All of us had to learn. And I don't know it all. I'm still learning. I don't ever want to get to a place to think that I can't learn anymore. All right. And neither should you. So did the Greek influence our understanding? Did they have influence of our understanding of Satan? Let's answer this question here. Let's start with Hades, right? Let's start with Hades. I want to make sure you guys understand what Hades is. All right. Now, I want to make it clear. Forgive me if I butcher some of these names. All right. But let's get into it. Hades. It says underworld god, lord of death, consort of Hecate, consort of Hecate, right? Or Persephone. It goes on to say in pre-Roman Latin, and again, this is dealing with Roman Greek, but Latium, it says here, is also known as Ieda, right? Or Ida, or Adi, right? Or Adi, right? And his bride was Persephone, or Persephone, right? Greek myth converted him into the abductor of the virgin Persephone, or Kor, but as destroyer. All right. But the key is underworld god, lord of death. And I'm sure all of you guys heard that word Hades before. And we're going to break this down here. But it goes on to say here, right? It says destroyer. It says, or Kor, but as destroyer. She was really the underworld death goddess to begin with. Wait a minute. What did you just hear here? Wait a minute. When we think of Hades, we're thinking of a female goddess. She was really the underworld death goddess to begin with. His name, and it goes on to say his name, Greek name, Adonis, meant blind one, a common title of the phallic hidden god, which means in the womb of the earth. So Hades, guess what? It's supposed to be the goddess. It's supposed to be the womb of this death goddess, right? Hell, according to the Greeks, is supposed to be a womb. Hades is a womb. Hades is feminine. All right. And family, we're dealing with Greek mythology, but you see some of the influence here. You see some of the influence here. So Hades, as we see here, she was really the underworld death goddess to begin with, right? And so we see here in the womb of the earth. Hades was also known as Pluton, Lord of Riches, right? Continuing on here, but notice what we get here. When he was identified with the Christian devil, the belief persisted that the devil could locate buried treasures for his followers. Like all underground deities, Hades was thought a leading resident of hell, right? Was thought to be I believe that's what it was trying to say. But Hades was thought to be a leading resident of hell, right? Remember what we said, right? Based upon our perception, based upon what we understand of hell, based upon how we've been influenced, we think that, just like in this ESPN commercial, I'm going to show it again. think that, just hell, Hades. We think that Hasatan, right, is the chief, right, the leader of this resident of hell. That's what we think about. That's how we've been the understanding of hell. That's what's been handed to us through poor teachings. So, like all underground deities, Hades was thought of a leading or as a leading resident of hell, which was often called by his name instead of by the name Hel, right? The goddess. Wait a minute. So, wait a minute. As you see here, Hell or Hades is referring to a goddess, Greek, Roman goddess, because their deities are the same, just that they may call them different things. I mean, different names. All right. So Hell, Hades, the goddess, the hell itself, this place, this underground world is supposed to be the womb, her womb. Okay. So let's deal with three Greek words here. Let me take a look at this poll real quick. Appreciate all the participation. We have 74 people that voted. Appreciate it. 84% yes, 9% no, and 7% not sure. But really appreciate it, family. Until our next poll, I'm gonna close that out. Right, get those likes up, family. We're at 130. Let's get it up to 200 before we dip out. Before we close this out tonight. All right. So let's see here. Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna have to use that clip. You mentioned that. That's right. I'm gonna have to use that clip every time, or if we see trolls in, because certain teachings I can guarantee is going to produce trolls. So yeah, thanks for the recommendation, Jay. High style. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I use that clip for the trolls. All right. So let's deal with three Greek words that transliterates to the word hell. Right. And we'll see how the Greeks have influenced our understanding of hell. You will see that language do play a part in perception, language, right? Because many of their words are going to point to their deities, right? Remember, wisdom, the Greek word for wisdom is Sophia. And Sophia is a goddess, a Greek goddess, a Roman goddess of what? Wisdom, right? But anyway, three Greek words that transliterates to hell. So let's start with Gehenna. Let's see what Gehenna means. All right, let's see what Gehenna means. It says here, right? Valley of Hinnom, right? Gena or Gehenna. In other words, a valley of Jerusalem as a name for the place or state of everlasting punishment, hell. So this valley, Hinnom or Gehenna, right, is a valley within Jerusalem. Let me say that again. This place right here is a valley within Jerusalem, right? It's the name of a place, as you see here, also a name of a place of the place of everlasting punishment, hell. Okay. But let's go to this entry here. And this entry that I'm reading here, this sub entry, that's what you see here in the yellow, right? Hell is the place of the future punishment called Gehenna or Gehenna of fire. This was originally the valley of Hinnom, south of Jerusalem, where the filth and dead animals of the city were cast out and burned, a fit symbol of the wicked and their future destruction. So this territory, it was a physical place, right? That was like a waste. That was like a dump. That was a place where you saw dead animals that would be burnt. But guess what? It wasn't just that. This where Israelites burnt their babies, sacrificed their babies, burnt them as they passed them through the fire to Moloch. This is the same place. So you can imagine the smell, the stench. You can imagine body parts, burnt baby bodies and animals and all this waste. It was a wasteland. Take it a step further, you'd be surprised where the Jewish community as we know them, the territory of Israel. They want our people to reside if we decide to go back there, right? Before the Most High come back. If we decide to go there. And I'll leave it at that. I was going to include that teaching here, but I'm going to stay clear of that for tonight. So hell is the place of the future punishment called Gehenna or Gehenna of fire. This was originally the valley of Hinnom, south of Jerusalem, where the filth and dead animals of the city were cast out and burned. And it goes on to say a fit symbol of the wicked and their future destruction. So the Greek word Gehenna is the combination of the Hebrew word Gaia and Hinnom, right? So let's explain this. The word Gaia, right? Let's see what this word means. As you see here, it simply means valley, right? It simply means valley. That's all it means, valley. Valley. So we see here in the Israeli, this would be Guy, right? But anyway, ancient Hebrew, Gaia, right? But anyway, as you see here, a gorge, valley, a steep valley, narrow gorge. So let's go to Numbers chapter 21, verse 20, and let's put this word to use here. Let's see how this word is used. So that way you can see it in the proper context. It says, and from Bamoth in the valley, Gaia, that is in the country of Moab, to the top of Pisgah, which looketh toward Jeshimon. All right. So this is that you're seeing the word Gaia used in this proper context. Remember, in ancient Hebrew, there were no silent letters. The ayan was not silent, as well as the alap. In the Israeli, it's pronounced aleph. This was not silent, so to be Gaia. All right. So this is the word for valley. So when we go to the word Hinnom, let's see what Hinnom means. As we see here, it says here, or Hanam, right? But it says here, a Jebusite. But here's the kicker. It says Hanam or Hinnom means lamentation. Also what? Mourning. When you think about lamentation, you think of mourning, right? You think of, suppressed, you think of affliction, right? When you think of lamentation, you think of affliction, you think of mourning, okay? But notice what it says here. A valley, in other words, a deep and narrow ravine with steep, rocky sides, right? Located southwest of Jerusalem, separating Mount Zion to the north from the hill of evil counsel and the sloping rocky plateau of the plain of Rephaim to the south. Okay. And then Joshua also talks about this place. Let's go to Joshua chapter 15, verse 8. Let's see what it says. And the border went up by the valley of the son of Hinnom or Hanam unto the south side of Jebusite. The same is, as we see here, the same is Jerusalem. And the border went up to the top of the mountain that lieth before the valley of Hanam. As we see here, valley, Gaia of Hanam, right? Westward, which is at the valley, which is at the end of the valley of, and this is say the giants, right? As you see up here, the valley of the giants northward. So this is telling you the position of Hanam. It's telling you the location, where it's located at. I didn't have a chance to put a map on here, but it's all good. So let's go to the Easton's Bible Dictionary definition of Hanam. And I encourage you guys, get a copy of this. You can download this for free. This is the this version that I'm using is from 1894. All right. It's I like to go to like the older sources to get more of a accurate definition of many words. I like to go back as far as I can with the dictionaries, right? Before a lot of these agendas really kicked in. Okay, but let's see what it says here. Hanam or Hinnom, it says a deep, narrow ravine separating Mount Zion from the so-called hill of evil counsel. It took its name from some ancient hero, the son of Hinnom, or Hanam, it is first mentioned in Joshua chapter 15, verse 8. It had been the place where the idolatrous Israelites burned their children alive to Moloch and Baal. So this place, as I pointed out, it's a bad place. It is a terrible place in terms of what Israel had done at this place. They profaned this place. So they weren't just burning up animals, it was burning children alive to Moloch and Baal. And the ashes would be in that territory, a peculiar part of the valley that is called Tophet, or the fire stove where the children were burned. That's where you get the word Yule from. Yule is a Chaldean word. So on Christmas, right, when you see during Christmas on television, you see how that log is in the fireplace burning, right? That is what is called the Yule log. It is reminding you of what? The burning of a child, because Yule in Chaldean means child. So when you see on television that Yule log during Christmas, they are what? Part of the celebration is the burning of children. Come on, family. Look up the lesson I did about Christmas, right? Go to the playlist when I deal with the holidays and all of that. And I go deep. I give you sources confirming that. So the valley of the valley was called Tophet, or the fire stove where the children were burned after the exile in order to show their abhorrence of the locality. The Israelites made this valley the receptacle of the offal of the city, for the destruction of which a fire was, as is supposed, kept constantly burning there. Why? Because they was doing sacrifices, burning animals, burning people. And I'm sure that this probably was the area that they were, even when they would do the burnt offerings in the temple, and the priests had to what? Dump the ashes. Remember, they had to change their garments in Leviticus, I believe, either chapter 6 or chapter 8. They had to change their garments. They had to keep the fire burning in the temple and make sure it never went out. I'm pretty confident that they poured the ashes in this place. But guess what? When Israel got into idolatry, they began to do what? Have sacrifices in this place, sacrificing their children to Baal. And who? As I just pointed out, Moloch. All right. So the Israelites associated with this valley these two ideas, that of the suffering of the victims that had been that had there been sacrificed, and that of filth and corruption. It became thus to the popular mind a symbol of the abode of the wicked hereafter. So that became a symbolism, symbolic of those that went, that would go to hell, right? In that afterlife, among many of the Israelites. It came to signify hell as the place of the wicked. All right. So we see here some of the examples. When we go down here, it says the word Gehenna, the Greek contraction of Henam, was never used in the time of Christ in any other sense than to denote the place of future punishment. Okay. So let's go to the second word. So we dealt with Hanan or Henam, Hanam. We dealt with that. But now let's deal with the second word, Hades. Let's give proper clarity on Hades. All right, family. We got about another 25 minutes to go here, because I forgot that I scheduled a reboot on this computer, so I can't back out of it. So we got about another 25 minutes. We're going to wrap up about a quarter after 12, and we'll just have to do a part 2 before the weekend is out, or next Thursday we'll continue this out. So let's go to the second word that we see here, Hades. Now let's put Hades in its proper perspective of what Hades is. All right, so let's go here, Hades. Right, notice what it says, Hades, or the place, in other words, state of departed souls. Highlight this. You see, write down in your notes or type in your notes, Hades, and put a dash and put grave. Right? But then when we get here, Hades or Pluto, now we're starting to see what? We're starting to see the influence of the Greeks, because we see Hades, Pluto, the god of the lower regions. What god? What god of the lower regions? Remember what I explained to you. Hades is actually a goddess. right? And supposedly, according to Greek mythology, that this place is the womb of her. Hades or hell is a she. See, when you see the god of the lower regions, what deity are they talking about? See, now they're giving you an understanding of what? The influence of Hasatan being over this region. You see where I'm going at, family? You see, just in this definition here, that they are pushing the narrative of the confusion, the influence of the Greeks of what hell means. That Hasatan is dominion, has dominion over this place. That's why it says God of the lower regions, right? Further pushing this delusion right here.
Going up.
Family, pushing that delusion. Okay. So I hope this helps you, many of you guys thus far. I hope this helps you guys thus far. That's why we're doing this presentation, just to make sure that you guys have clarity. So, as you see in this definition, you see the influence of the Greeks, you see the influence of the Romans. Why are we seeing listed here Hades or Pluto, the god of the lower regions? So, this is saying the deity over the lower regions. What deity? So, this is them referring to Hasatan as a deity, as a god, basically. Anyway, family. So Hades or Pluto also refers to the gods of the underworld. Come on, family. That should have you scratching your head. That should have you like, wait a minute. I know I didn't just hear what I just heard. You know what I mean? That should have you feeling some kind of way. That should have you in this mode, like, what did I just hear? Did I just see that inside that definition? You guys should be like, what? Did I just hear what I just heard in that definition? Yes, that's what that definition said. Is pushing the narrative, what I just shared, the delusion that Satan has dominion over hell. I want to give a special shout outs here to Michael. Really appreciate the love and support. Family, let's show some love for our brother here for the love and support. Thank you for the contributions tonight. Really appreciate all you do. And thank you for continuously supporting the platform. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And family, let's show some love to Michael right now. Hallelujah. All right. Thank you. Really appreciate it. All right. So family, you see here, man, that's why the scripture says, if it's even possible, if it's even possible, the very elect will be fooled. If it's possible. So right now, let's give a three-piece. Let's give a three-piece to this deception. Wrong one, but let me give her the proper three-piece. I gave the order to go. I gotta at least give the place the order before I give the order to go. But here's the three-piece. And let's give them their order to go. So family, you just witnessed. I just gave you a source showing the definition within the strong concordance showing how the influence of the Greeks has over these definitions, some of these definitions. Because Satan does not have dominion over hell. All right. So let's go and continue, family. Let's continue. So let's go to the Easton's dictionary definition of Hades. Let's see what it says here. Hades, that which is out of sight, a Greek word used to denote the state or place of the dead. So primarily where you see the word Hades, when someone is being buried from the Greek, the word using the Greek word, you'll see Hades, right? The grave Like when you look at a cemetery, that would be considered Hades because it's a burial ground. It's a grave. It's a place filled with graves. So Hades, that which is out of sight, a Greek word used to denote the state or place of the dead. All the dead alike go into this place to be buried, to go down to the grave, to descend into Hades are equivalent expressions. So in the Septuagint, that's why you see 70 here. This is referring to the Septuagint, right? In the 70, uh, the Septuagint, this word is usually rendering of the Hebrew shol or in the ancient sha'al, right? So the common receptacle of the departed, and you see some passages here of references. This term is of comparatively rare occurrence in the Greek New Testament. Our Lord speak of Capernaum as being brought down to hell, in other words, Hades, an example simply to the lowest debasement. All right. So the Greek word Hades is transliterated from the Hebrew word, and I'm saying it from the ancient Hebrew, sha'al or shawal, right? I'm saying it from the ancient Hebrew, shawal or sha'awal, right? I'm saying it from the ancient Hebrew family. So I'm not saying it from the Israeli. All right. So the pronunciation is a little different. So sha'awal. Some would say shawal or sha'awal. All right, because every letter is pronounced in ancient Hebrew as a syllable, and we drop in an I at the end. All right, but anyway, so the Greek word Hades is transliterated from the Hebrew word sha'awal, which refers to the common receptacle of the departed. So this receptacle of the departed is what we call a grave. When we go to Genesis chapter 42, verse 38, we'll see the usage of this word. It says, and he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is what? Dead, Moth or Mathad, right? And he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in which we ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow. All right. Wan or Yagawan to the grave, Sha'awal. But we see here, then shall you bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave, Sha'awal. Okay. Genesis chapter, oh, actually, Psalms chapter, or the 139th book of Psalms, verse 8. Notice what it says. If I ascend up into heaven, if it says, if I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, Sha'awal, behold, thou art there. Wait a minute. See, family, when we look at it from the context of the scriptures, what this is saying here, whether he's this person, whether he is whether David is in heaven, he's saying the Most High is there. Whether he is what? Laid to rest. When his body is laid down in the grave, he's saying the Most High is there. That's what he's saying here. So Sha'awal or Shaul, as some would say, Shoel, however you want to pronounce it. I'm just going to say it from the ancient. I'm not saying all these different pronunciations. Sha'awal, it literally a grave. That's what David is saying here, whether he's in heaven or whether he is laid to rest in the grave, a burial place. Behold, thou art there. So when we go to Matthew chapter 10, verse 28, notice what it says here. And fear not them which kill the what? Body. Fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Sha'awal. He's saying, fear those, even when your body is laid to rest. Fear the one who can destroy your body in hell. Sha'awal. Oh, destroy your soul. That's the person you want to fear, right? Not a single person has a heaven or a hell to put you in. Only person that could put you in heaven or hell is you through your decision making. All right. Through your decision making. No one has a heaven or hell to put you in. All right. So I hope this is helping you guys out thus far. All right. So the third word, Tartarus. Here's the third word. So we dealt with Hinnom. We dealt with Hades. Now let's deal with Tartarus. Let's see what Tartarus mean. All right. It says here to incarcerate in eternal torment. Whoa. Now we see another. Now this is giving us a clarity of a different type of hell because it says to incarcerate into eternal torment. Then we see here the name of the subterranean region, doleful and dark, regarded by the ancient Greeks as the abode of the wicked. But we see here Tartarus, right? We see incarcerate in eternal torment. So now we have to go to 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4 to see how this is used. Notice what it says. For if Yahweh spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell. Wait a minute. So there are angels that are in this place. Doesn't sound like they have dominion of this place because they are what? They are locked up. They are in prison in this place. What angels are we dealing with here? We're dealing with the angels, those fallen angels. We're dealing with those angels from the time of Noah. We're dealing with those angels as you see here. You know, if you look at I don't have it up here. I thought I could really read it here, but I got some of it cut off. But anyway, but we see that there are angels that are what? In a place. They are in Tartarus, right? Waiting for the final judgment. If Yahweh spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, Tartarus, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. So those fallen angels that during the time of Noah, those fallen angels, when we look at Sodom and Gomorrah, those fallen angels, guess where they are? They are locked up. They're not roaming around here. Those angels are locked up. Those angels that call themselves trying to mix, seduce the people. The Most High said, hey, he cleansed this earth and he what? Cast them into what? This place called Tartarus from the Greek. They're in prison. They're incarcerated. Satan doesn't have dominion over that. The Most High does. So again, family, I hope this is giving you clarity here. We've got another about 15 minutes to go here. Are there certain characteristics or descriptions of hell? Yes, I gave you plenty of them, but again, is hell simply the grave? Does the established covenant, many of you refer to it as the Old Testament. I do not call it the Old Testament. The scriptures did not call it the Old Testament. They refer to it as the law and the prophets. I use the term established covenant because you see the scriptures where it says the Most High established his covenant with who? Noah. He established his covenant with who? Abraham. He established his covenant with who? Israel. He did not create a covenant, right? He established it. In other words, he made it stable from one person to another, right? The covenant was created. It was there from the very beginning. That's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, the established covenant speaks of a final place beyond the grave for evil people. Does the established covenant, some call it the Old Testament, but does the established covenant speaks of a final place beyond the grave for evil people? Right? So here's the Hebraic understanding of hell. Let's go with Proverbs chapter 15, verse 9 through 11. All right. It says, the way of the wicked is an abomination unto Yahweh, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness. Verse 10, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Verse 11, hell shall a wall and destruction abad, right? Abad wan or abad dawan, right? But abad wan are before Yahweh. How much more than the hearts of the children of men? But we see here, hell and destruction are before Yahweh. How much more than the hearts of the children of men? So when we look at the Hebrew dictionary definition of hell, right? Notice what we see here, right? And then this is the Israeli pronunciation, Sheol, right? So this is the colon, right? So that makes the O sound. This is what is called the Shava. So it'd be Sheol, right? That's why you hear Sheol, right? But ancient Hebrew, Sha'awal. All right. But anyway, Hades, or the world of the dead, grave, hell, pit. All right. Let me say this again. Hades, or the world of the dead, grave, hell, pit. So we know this word Sha'awal can be used synonymous with, as we highlighted with Hades, but also it can be used synonymous with Tartarus. All right, the Greek word Tartarus. But anyway, notice what it says here. It says Sha'awal, or Sheol. It says underworld, grave, hell, pit. Right, but then when we go down to the Old Testament, it says here, or the established covenant, Sheol. It says here the designation for the abode of the dead, place of no return, without praise of the Most High, wicked sent there for punishment. Okay, so hell, Sha'awal, in Hebrew means world or place of the dead, place without knowledge of Yah, the grave. So when we go to Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 21 and through 24, to get clarity, it says, they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not Alahayim. They have provoked me, Ka'as, me to anger with their vanities, Habal, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. Verse 22, for a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn Yaquat unto the lowest Thayak, hell, Sha'awal, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountain. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spend mine arrows upon them. All right. So you see here, the key here, and shall burn Yaquat unto the lowest, as we see here, Thakatha Yath, right? Or some would say Thakatha Yath, right? However you want to pronounce it. But anyway, hell, Sha'awal, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountain. Verse 24, they shall be burnt, right, with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beast upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. Man, this is brutal right here. This is the judgment that Most High is dealing with right here. This is a judgment none of us want to experience. They shall be burnt with hunger. They shall be burnt, Mazai, with hunger, Ra'ab, and devoured, Lakam, with burning heat, Rashap, and with bitter, Marayarai, destruction, Quatab. I will also send the teeth of the beast upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. So is this describing the hell we've come to know? Right? That's a lot to say. That's a lot. And we see this in what? The established covenant. And shall burn unto the lowest hell. Also says they shall be burnt with hunger, right? Not ever thirsting, right? So let's look at the Hebrew definition for burnt. It says to suck out, exhaust, burnt, empty, right? That's what this word means. Let me see what time it is. I want to make sure I don't go over, because I don't want to have my reboot kick in while we're in the middle of this lesson. All right. So, right, going back to this lesson, this is what I shared with you guys earlier, the video, but let me play some clips real quick before we wrap up. Let me let you guys hear what he says here. Let's play it real quick. All right. And then we're going to have to table this and continue next week. All right. We'll do part 2 next Thursday night. We'll kind of break it up that way. All right. Let's see here. Where's the clips? This is the clips that I played earlier.
This is the courtyard of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. How many mountains is in here?
Do you know where the line is?
Two?
Yeah.
Name it.
I can wait for you to
Three
do it.
Calvary and Latin.
Say that again?
Greek cavalry and Latin cavalry.
He said Greek cavalry and Latin cavalry. But here you got Mount Calvary. Suppose it is inside this church. Mount Calvary is what happened on Mount Calvary?
The crucifixion.
The crucifixion. Is that correct? Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Was Yeshua crucified outside the city or in the city? Huh?
Outside the city.
Outside the city. So, how could this mountain be inside these walls? Some ain't connected. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm going to show you where the real Calvary is. It's on a mountain where a cemetery is today. And the mountain looked like a skull. Because also Mount Calvary is called Golgotha. Golgotha means the skull. Now, according to archaeological and historiography by the Euro-Gentile, where this mountain where Yeshua was crucified, at the bottom of the mountain they found a skull. They had to excavate for it. The skull was the skull of Adam. Did you hear me? So, did you hear me? So, the first, because see, Yeshua is also recognized as the second Adam. Is that not so? So he was crucified in the same place where the first Adam was what? Buried. That's why they call it Har Golgotha, the mountain of Golgotha. Okay, now, who was responsible for building this church? Who? Helena. Who was Helena? Queen Helena.
The daughter of Constantine.
Oh, no. The mother
Constantine.
of Emperor Constantine. Now, one of the things that you got to study when you go back is history, especially about the Holy Land and the empires that were here. In 325 AD, Constantine commissioned his mother, Queen Helena, to build this church. Why?
All right, so that's the elder here that you saw earlier. So really appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. Want to give a shout out to J. Michelle Howard. Really appreciate you for the contribution tonight, family. Let's show some love to J. Michelle for her contribution tonight. Really appreciate it, family. And I know I covered a lot. So what we're going to do, being that I don't want to go too far with this lesson. Let me go ahead and fast forward here. We're gonna stop it right here. This is a good stopping point with purgatory, right? Because we dealt with 3 words, and I gave you the breakdown of them. Hinnom, right? We explained that territory, a physical location in Israel. We dealt with Tartarus. We also dealt with Hades. So Hinnom was the first word. Hades was the second word, which we dealt with the grave, right? And we dealt with Tartarus, which is like a place where for incarceration, the fallen angels, the angels that are locked up there. And the Hasatan does not have dominion over that whatsoever. The Most High has dominion over all of that. All right. So with that being said, family, really appreciate the love and support. Let me just look through the comments here real quick before we wrap up. But like I said, this is a great stopping point here, because I know I can't go too much further because my computer is about to kick in another 10 minutes or so. And I don't want it to cut off while we are going through this lesson. But if you have any questions, family, drop it in the comment section or shoot me an email. But again, even though the chat is going to stop, you can still keep your comments going on. I want to encourage everyone, hit that like button. Let's get those likes up. We should at least have 200 likes because of all what we poured out today. Get those likes up. Doesn't cost anything to get those likes up. Let's get those likes up before we wrap up. Let's try to get it to 200. Share it on your YouTube channel. Share it on your Facebook channel. Share it, family. That's how we break this algorithm, right? Because they're really doing, when I say they, YouTube has really has done so much to suppress this channel since I dropped Road to Savannah. They literally pumped the brakes on getting the notifications out. You name it. They really pumped the brakes on what we're doing here big time. So with that being said, family, really appreciate you guys. Thank you for the love and support. And again, we'll pick up on this lesson next Thursday. We can't do it all tonight, but we'll pick up on this lesson next Thursday night. Like the old school say, same bat time, same bat channel. So right now, but in the meantime, let's throw the Roman Catholic Church. Let's throw Christianity. Let's throw these poor teachers, these theologians that have been teaching the people incorrectly, still pushing this Greek stuff. Remember, syncretism. But we'll deal with that next week. But let's throw them all inside the garbage can. And give them a three-piece. Let's give them their order to go. Messiah as actually the words of the Most High, Yahweh, Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 to 14, as he encouraged Moses to encourage the people as they were in a state of confusion. He said, "Fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh. These Egyptians that you see here today, you will never have to deal with them again. They will not have power over you ever again. The Most High will fight for you." But here's the kicker, family. We have to hold our peace. Can't go back, cannot stay here. Guess what, family? Keep moving forward.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was the... Jacob had 12 sons. For real, and these were the children of Israel, according to Genesis chapter 10. These were the children of Israel, according to Genesis chapter 10. These were the children